Yo, yo. All right, so here will be chapter 4, and I'm sorry these are taking so long to come out, but I did get a little burnt out on NG4, and, obviously with working and everything. But I'm going to try to get these finished up as soon as possible. Also, all right, let's take a look. So again, and I do make a couple mistakes in this chapter. I'm not the type to like redo chapters over and over until I like flawless it. I'm also not the type to video edit and splice shit out. But I'll point out the two mistakes I made and we'll go from there. But always, if you see a fight like this, which we see a lot, where, the enemies are just kind of chilling and you can just kind of like run up on them and start it, I typically always try to initiate it with in my case, it's a Blood Raven R2, or it would be Blood Raven and Gear Attack. You've seen me do this before. We actually got some essence there, so breaking open those boxes will give you essence. So if you want, you can just start a UT chain and just do that the entire fight. Really not a whole lot to worry about initially here, since there's no enemies that really are super dangerous. There's no grenade launcher guys. There's no windmill shuriken guys. So really, you can just take out this fight how you want. So I do try to showcase a bit more like comboing here, so I can kind of like go over that. So here, I there's some distance between me and the enemy, so I do the back forward X input. And as this is happening, I'm input buffering a Blood Raven rotate X input. So boom, and then into that. So, when we talk about like creating your own freeform combos, doing this kind of stuff is really beneficial. Nice tracking. Whenever in doubt, if you feel like you're in a pinch, wind path is, or guillotine throws are always good. And these guys go down super, super fast. That rotate X move is really, really good delim. So one combo I like to do is XX rotate X. On lower tier enemies, you'll get really consistent delims out of it. And then again there, that was just the back forward X into rotate Y. So here we start getting some harder enemies. I just decided to wipe it. That back forward X is also a really good delim, as we can see there, and super easy. Really nothing, not a lot to this fight. So what I'm showing here, if you took a lot of damage, you can go back to the Umi Shrine up the stairs there. So if you take a lot of damage or you use a few items and you want to go into the next stretch with full health and full items, feel free to go back up the stairs, heal. You heal every time you go to the shrine, and you can purchase any items you might have used. This next fight is either really tough. I will showcase the fight, like just full on scrapping it in a different video. But this fight, you can either have it be one of the hardest fights in the game, or you can just skip it. Here we skip it. And this is the route you want to take if you want to skip it. Even if you're not going to skip it, so if you aggro any of these guys without assassinations, it spawns a few additional enemies, and one of them is one of the big armored samurai guys who are very dangerous. And having to deal with a windmill shuriken guy, multiple dudes with guns, and one of these dudes I think has lightning. It's a really, really hard fight. But if you use your assassinations, you can get rid of, you just don't aggro them. Even if you're gonna spawn the fight, kill this guy. At least kill this fucking guy. But you want to come up here next, and then you want to come to this guy here. You can also go down and get the guy at the bottom, but I didn't do that. Then we're going to come up here and you can assassinate this guy. And then you can run up the stairs, but I like to play it safe and come up here. And then we can just take out these last two. Now here in this next fight is where you're going to see one of the two mistakes I made in this chapter. I did it twice in a row. I don't know why. I just was not being prepared for his red attacks. There was one of the times I ended up getting a parry out of it. And then here, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why. I saw the red attack coming, but for some reason I just didn't... I just hesitated, and if you hesitate for like 1 second against these guys, you're dead. So that was one of my two mistakes. When you parry, you pretty much always get an essence, so we can utilize that. So yeah, don't hesitate. These armored samurai guys are very dangerous. If you do not get the burst counter attack properly, you're gonna die. Like and you can see it wasn't even a one shot. Let's kind of like look at that again, because people talk about like one shots, and this is one of the hardest hitting enemies in the game. And we actually don't see... I got hit multiple times here. So here, that was a red attack I got hit with, and it barely took, you know, what is that? Maybe 30% of my health. And then even this here, it took 2 of them. So it took 3 red attack hits to actually die. So damage isn't as, you know, people who are like everything one-shots. These Naginata wielding armored samurai, one of the hardest hitting enemies in the game, and I could take 3 hits playing like a complete fucking idiot before I died. So yeah, but now we're just gonna assassinate the last guy down here and move on. And even if you aggro him, you can fight the last armored samurai and I think 2 or 3 additional enemies. I'm breaking these boxes hoping to get some red essence, some essence orbs, because sometimes you get the big ones. I actually did not mean to assassinate this next guy. I was trying to flying swallow him, but he just went straight into an assassination. If you flying swallow a enemy that's not aware of you, he will go straight into the assassination, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I like to use... The game gives us the drill before this chapter for a reason. The drill does work well against these guys. They're not super hard to fight, but they can be kind of annoying. Obviously, the red ones are the elite versions. The regular, like, black or blue ones or whatever are the non-elite versions. Kind of got lucky with that parry there. And again, not a whole lot to that. Just take out the red one as soon as possible. That's really all you need to like prioritize or worry about. You can grapple on some of the things if you want to. There is another fight down there with 2 more of them, but it's really... If you can do this fight, you can do that fight. Now here, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, I really don't know what happened here. But, he kept, like... I was just holding forward. I wasn't pressing jump at all. But for some reason, Yakumo's bitch ass kept deciding to, like, jump off this wall. And it happens over and over and over and over and over and over. And again, I really don't, like, understand why, because all you do is hold forward. But he just kept, like, stopping and jumping off, and it's the most annoying shit. Like, it happens a few more times. Yeah, see? Okay. Finally made it. Now, this fight here, there's a couple things we want to pay attention to. We want to make sure to save the essence from a specific fight so we can start the fight at the end of the bridge with the UT. That is one of the samurai with the big laser guns, and those laser guns hit so hard and they track you, and it's such a pain. So, and this is my second mistake of the chapter. I thought it was this one, so initially I left this guy alive, but don't, just kill him. Just kill him. It's the next fight where you want to do it, which is up on the bridge here. So we get So we get these two guys and this guy here. What you want to do is you want to kill two of them, get two essence, but leave one alive. This allows us to essence chain. In Ninja Gaiden 4 is just like Ninja Gaiden 2, where you can't chain essence between fights if you kill all the enemies. However, in Ninja Gaiden 4, if you leave one enemy alive and, you know, hold block just like previously, you won't absorb the essence. So that's like the only way that you can chain essence to the next fight. And I got grabbed. This has only happened to me like 4 times in my history of NG4, and it happened to me twice in this chapter alone. But yeah, just take UT or OT him right away, because that's just not, you know, that's just not fun to get suicide bombed and die. It happens one more time in this chapter too, which is so weird because that's like never happened to me. So we're gonna start it out by killing him, so that doesn't happen again. And then we're gonna use this attack until we get a D-limb. Okay, now I have 2 essence, but I'm gonna leave that guy alive, and I'm gonna sprint over here as fast as possible and hope to God he doesn't just shoot me in the face when I try to do my own landing. But once you take him out, then, you know, it's smooth sailing. Just be careful, this guy does have the red lightning. Or the blue lightning red attack, I should say. This fight here, you can probably chain essence again if you left that same guy alive, but we're not going to bother with that. We just want to prioritize 2 enemies. It's kind of hard when they're so grouped together, but one of them is the rocket launcher guy. And then the next one you want a UT is this guy here. So, you know, try to get a UT on him if you can. And you can see it happened again. I got grabbed again. That's so funny. That's like never really happened to me. So now we're just going to UT this guy. And GG. Pretty short chapter. It's a pretty easy chapter. Not too hard. Chapters 5 and 6 get harder and harder. Chapter 5 is one of 4 and 5 are some of my favorite chapters in the game. I just really like them. I like the enemy variety. I like the whole like yokai inspiration, which, you know, is very reminiscent of Neo. I like that. I don't know how people complain about the terrain. It's just like hard. It's really funny like how hypocritical people are, because you see one argument where people are like, there's never any like variety in the terrain. It's just big open boxes and you never have to worry about, you know, the terrain and choke points and falling and all this shit. And then like those same people say chapters 4 through 6 suck because of the terrain. So, make up your mind, dude. But yeah. I like it a lot. I love the mountain. I think like the whole mountain aesthetic is really fucking cool. I like the enemies, so I personally like it. So here, one Izuna drop doesn't kill these guys, so you know, I'm doing the weapon cycle trick, or at least trying to, but I got hit by one of these guys off screen. That drill shuriken attack is really good against these guys because, you know, even if they're in the air, if you do a charged form of that drill projectile, it basically like has a continuous hitbox. So again, same thing like I showed in chapter 3. Always, these guys pretty much always open with a red attack. And if you do your red attack while they do their red attack, not only are you interrupting their red attack, but you also do increased damage. So always open this fight with this attack. Then here we just showcase a little Dark Dragon Blade. Basically just XXY Gleam Cancel is very strong. You can stun lock these guys. Like I showed in one of my other tutorials, you can just do X Gleam, X Gleam, X Gleam. But I had a migraine today and I feel a little bit better now, but I still don't feel great. So having like super fast reactions isn't kind of like in the cards for me tonight. And again, these guys can be kind of dangerous. They're super easy to fight, but their attacks can come out of nowhere. I should have just OT'd him. You can tell they're ready to be OT'd if they're bloodied. Since I took damage, I'm just trying to delimb and get OTs to get my health back up and then get essence. So again, this attack, you can just kind of cheese them with it. But they delim pretty fast no matter what. I assassinated the wrong guy here, so you really want to go for, you have to be like pretty quick, but you want to assassinate him, the red Tengu. That's the one you're defaulted on, but you kind of like, move and then it switches to a different guy, one of these like fodder, but hit Y the second you see it spawn above the red Tengu. That way you take him out, because he's, obviously the most dangerous one here. And that was kind of a interesting parry where I was doing that red attack and he happened to attack and it was just like a weird Blood Raven parry. I even kind of like froze for a second trying to like figure out what just happened or why I didn't get a follow-up on it. So the red guys we want to take out. You could just UT him. We have plenty of essence. And yeah, they come off screen. It is good to do a lot of OTs and UTs if you want to wipe this wave, which I ended up doing, or trying to, getting hit midair. So of course I did. And I think I just missed them completely. Yeah. I hate how you can't recenter the camera without locking on. I saw somebody in my comments say that they just switched it to like a super fast snap speed, which I should probably get used to. I should probably do that, like the X rotation speed, just making that super fast. And this is pretty much the end of the chapter. And these fights before the little Buddha statues again get like harder and harder as we go through chapters 4 through 6. I just throw these bitches off. You can really like abuse guillotine throws. It's funny that they're like flying enemies, but if you guillotine throw them off a cliff, they like can't do anything about it. Okay, so I hate these fuckers. So we want to isolate the Tengu if we can, ideally. So again, I'm trying to just Azuna drop him. But of course I got hit. But it's okay. And then again, we get an essence. Ideally, we get some UTs. But I don't know what the fuck happened here. Like why he targeted that one. The targeting with these lanterns, it's really weird. Like, normally I think the targeting is super exaggerated in this game. But when these guys come up on the screen, the targeting just like turns to absolute shit. Like, I really don't understand what it's doing with these fucking lanterns. But the enemy prioritization and the targeting system when these guys are on the screen is just, it's just fucking, it's insanely bad. I really don't understand why. Like, what it is with that enemy that makes it so shitty. I never know what's in chests, so I kind of guess if I'm going to use an item to replace it. But you don't need to use an item there because we have this coming up. And we'll just skip past this. Okay. So, starting this fight, again, you can, like, Berserker. It's a pretty short fight. By the time I usually don't use Berserker, like, Bloodbath, like, go into Berserker state, because I finished, by the time I get Berserk, the fight's almost over. There are a couple things to kind of like pay attention to though. So first, obviously, we want to try to get the red Tengus if we can. So grappling up here and trying to target one. I wanted to juggle him a bit, but this is where you want to like pay attention. So I did want to juggle this guy, but I saw that red attack like right on top of me. So, you know, obviously Azuna drop gives you iframes. So I go into an Azuna. That gave us some essence. I try not to like rely on UTs too much, but I was hoping to take the red guys out real quick. And we got a couple of them. A little spammy on the UTs. I'm sorry about that. No, that's not the most exciting. So once we get this guy, you want to try to save some essence so we can UT this guy, especially when you're surrounded by, or when there's like a lot of enemies. The pots, getting a UT with the staff is the best way to go about it. So that's, you know, what I'm trying to go for here, just to get him out of the way. But of course, Yakumo goes way the fuck over here. But it's okay, because, you know, we took these guys out, so it didn't like hurt. But ideally, you just UT this guy as soon as possible. Now, if my UT doesn't kill him, like I showed in my previous video, you can do like dodge offset moves and shit. But it's if there's Tengus and other enemies you're not sure about, I typically just do this attack. And one or two of them will typically kill him if you've gotten some damage on him. And you can see I got Berserk like right at the end there. And we were pretty UT heavy. So I guess you can, like, if you really want Berserk, you can try to get more OTs than UTs, but UTs are typically pretty good for building Berserk up anyway, so. And that wraps up Chapter 4. Again, I like it. It's pretty short. And again, sorry about the couple of mistakes I made, but maybe you won't make those same mistakes now that you saw them. Yao Ming. Alright, check you later. Peace. Or, I guess we'll finish it. Watch Yakumo fall. Yakumo! Alright, peace.